right, welcome back to the Stronger Together podcast experience. And I've just had the best couple weeks meeting so many amazing people through this opportunity. And one of the things I always talk about, first of all, I always thank our sponsors, Swivel and Bulb, as solution providers. That's what makes us stronger together. It's not just educator to educator, it's solution providers, it's support, it's teachers, it's leaders, it's all of us coming together. You saw in the intro Jen Wombo from FETC, and this last couple weeks is really all about NiceGate coming up and the great opportunity. I was literally right before we started on the NiceGate app. I'm posting something to my buddy Ryan from Wakelet on his session, because not only do we meet, and it's live, we're live, just happened. We not only do we meet educators in the field, we also meet solution providers to make things happen. And at MassQ about 2.5-3 weeks ago, had a chance to meet Ryan from Wakelet. And since then, I've created some infographics in Canva, which I also met at an event, and posted them in Wakelet to support our teachers. And I'm thrilled to have another one of our solution providers on with us today, Alefiya. I know nothing really about what you do, so I'm going to be here just as a learner more than anything. So Mad Learn sounds fun just from the start. So welcome to the podcast, and tell us who you are.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Matthew. It's a pleasure to be here. That intro was awesome. I was like, oh, I know that person. Oh, I know that person. Oh, there's my friend. So we clearly know a lot of the same people. And, someday maybe there'll be a selfie of us in there. And,
well, that's happening. I've already, not someday. This weekend, we're going to get one. And I told I can change that intro anytime. I talked to Daphne last night. She's not in it. And I'm like, we're going to be in the next one. We have to the next couple days. Let's make that happen.
We will. I'm so looking forward to it. But it's a pleasure to meet you officially. I know we've been following each other on Twitter for a while, but it is a pleasure to meet you. I'm a teacher turned entrepreneur, Matthew. I have been a teacher for many years. I was a Montessori teacher, and absolutely loved being in the classroom. I taught little ones, 3 to 6 year olds. High school kids scare me a little bit.
Well, I was an elementary teacher as well, an elementary principal. I'm with you.
Right.
They at least laugh at my jokes
because they still want to hug you and they still think you're great. But about 8 years ago, I decided, well, a little more than that, but I decided to work on leaving the classroom and starting a company, really based on a need and a request that we had. My problem as a teacher was parent engagement and parent communication. And back 10 years ago, apps were just becoming a thing. Smartphones were becoming a thing. Businesses had apps for themselves. Schools did not have an app for themselves. Why not have an app for my school where I can do things easily and quickly, get everyone on the same page, have parents know what's going on? 10 years ago, that was a crazy idea. Now we all have apps, right? Schools have apps, districts have apps. It's a very common thing. But the first company I started was actually us building apps for schools. Wow. And a while into that, we realized that kids were so interested in the work that we were doing for their school. Why does our app do this? Why does it look like that? Why can't it be this way? I think that color's wrong. We came back, we put our heads together. We said, guys, we need to not be the ones building the apps. We need to teach the kids how to do this. So that's where MadLearn was born. MAD does stand for mobile app development. So that's why we're MAD. It's mobile app development.
Well, it is all caps. So that's good. You're either yelling at us or it stands for something.
All caps, and really just focused on teaching kids how to create technology, build apps. Apps are a hook, right? Kids are on their phones 24/7 for better or for worse. So how can we use that to engage with the kids in their phones? So yeah, that's a little bit about us.
Absolutely. So check out, the website is down below. And when you head to the website, you'll see the landing page here. So tell us what visitors will see to this page, the try it free. Take us into this. And it's just a conversation with me and you. The viewers, they can deal with themselves later. I want to learn about this.
Sure. So everything that we have at MadLearn is really focused on and based on the design thinking process. So we have a 6-step design thinking process that we integrate into our app development tool. So the kids come in, they learn how to think of an idea, how to brainstorm. What's the problem I want to solve? What's a group of people that I want to help or serve with my product? The next step is planning, really thinking through how do I organize my thoughts, my ideas, create a little bit of a tree, a mind map, really plan out what you want to do before you do it. The next step is designing it, really thinking about your logos and your color and your branding. How do you want this screen to look? And then we go into building. So the fourth step is building. That's the meat of it, right? This is where you're
Okay.
building screens, you're programming them to do what you want them to do. Fun fact, you can actually build an app with Madlearn start to finish using no code whatsoever.
Wow.
Or you can flip some screens around, see the code, start to understand it, manipulate it, dissect it, get comfortable with code. So that's step 4 is build. Step 5 is test. This is where you get feedback, you make it better, you iterate, you really make sure your product is doing what you want it to do. And then finally, step 6 is launching your app. And that's where you're presenting it, you're sharing it, you're pitching it, maybe to a group of sharks, maybe getting some
Wow.
investment, but really looking at that holistic process that we take kids through.
That's so exciting. And one of the things that I am always impressed, and I've been a big advocate of solution providers. When I left being a principal, I went into being the director of digital learning for a district. And I had the strongest bonds with some vendors, the Gaggle team, the Nearpod team, Go Guardians, Newzella, I still am friends with, Formative, because what impresses me and what impresses me about you in the very short time, you're not selling me anything. You're creating something that solves a problem. And in education, that's where we're going with learning. It's not about just memorize these things. It's about solving problems. And it's extremely exciting to hear you as an educator, not former, current, and just doing a different thing, right? And you're going to be at this great event. What are you presenting?
Yeah, so I'm super excited about NiceGate starting this weekend. My goodness, it's here already. Always the weekend before Thanksgiving. But yes, it starts on Saturday. Well, there's a maker fair on Friday, which is also a super cool student event. But Saturday is officially when the conference starts. And we're doing a couple things at NiceGate this year.
Okay.
It's actually only my second time to NiceGate. Last year was my newbie. I know this is going to be your first NiceGate.
Yes, it is.
But last year was my first one, and I really went to NiceGate for one reason only. We have an amazing partner in New York. TEQ is one of our
Yep.
partners, so they sell a lot of STEM programs. Madlearn is one of their products that they sell, and this is a big event they do every year. So we wanted to go there, be there, support them, kind of meet and mingle, and see what NiceGate was about. So we had a really good time last year, and this year we're coming back in a few different capacities. So the first
Okay.
thing we're doing is we're doing a session on Saturday at 3 p.m. Saturday at 3 p.m. I wrote it down.
Putting it on my phone right now.
On the app, get it on the app. It's called Appy Hour.
Oh, I think I signed up for that already.
Happy hour.
Sweet.
So come have a lot of fun. Feel free to bring a beverage if you want to. But it is
Done.
happy hour. Come
You
learn how
can't
to
beat a
make
conference that's BYOB. Like, are you serious right now? I love it.
Shh, don't tell anyone. But
We're a live show.
live show. Shh. But yes, the idea is in an hour, everyone is going to make an app, see it on their phone. Start to not finish, but they will start their app. They'll be able to see it on their phone and see how easy it can be to integrate app development into any kind of class. So that is Appy Hour on Saturday. Two of my awesome colleagues, Greg and Alexandra, are going to be presenting that session Saturday at 3 p.m. And then another session we're doing, I'm presenting with Lori Guyon, who's at Wishby Bosie. She's amazing. If you don't know her, make sure you look her up on Twitter, Smile Learning. But Lori and I are presenting a session on Monday at 1:30, and it's integrating a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship into the classroom, really looking at the entrepreneurial lessons that we've learned in our journey, things that we can really build into our culture, our ecosystem, and help our staff and our teachers and our students really, really focus on that entrepreneurial thinking, regardless of what it is that we're teaching. So that's on Monday at 1:30. And we also have a booth. We're in the exhibit hall this year. So look, come find us at the Madlearn booth. We're right next to Tech. Tech has like 5 booths. So come see us in the exhibit hall as well. And we've got a bunch of swag and fun giveaways. And you can sign up to get a free classroom license to Madlearn.
Wonderful. So the session, because I have an app here, as I was posting pictures before you came on, Grand F. So it's in the Hyatt Grand F. Happy hour, 3 o'clock on Saturday. And I think now that I'm actually listening and taking all of this in, I think I owe you a thank you because you had the Monday early session and I had the afternoon session. When you're telling me the session you have, I'm like, wait. We swapped so that I could catch my flight out of there. So I want to thank you for switching sessions Monday and taking the afternoon, because in the morning I'm presenting with Lori, and she is wonderful. She actually signed on to X Factor Publishing. She's going to write a book, and I can't wait to hear about that. So I owe you a big thank you as well. So,
No
and
problem.
as I listen to some of the things that you're sharing, and your solution is talking about, one of the things that I really sing the praises is for our teachers who celebrate the journey of learning. So as a principal, yes, we need data. Yes, I'm not putting anything against that, but I want to celebrate the journey of learning. And from what I'm hearing from you, that's what your solution does. It builds the process. So when I say that to you, celebrate the journey, as an educator and now an entrepreneur for young educators, what does that mean to you?
So it's funny that you say that because my team always laughs and giggles and smiles about the fact that we celebrate everything.
That's,
All
I heard there might be some confetti. I don't know.
there might be, psh, psh. But we celebrate all of the mini wins because the big ones don't happen that often,
Right.
and they're big and they're great. Of course, we're going to celebrate those, but I think what makes life so meaningful is being able to celebrate the mini wins. The that one week where you actually got everything done on your list,
Right.
or that one teacher that said, "Oh my God, you changed my life," or that one student that created an app that you just look at and you're like, wow, who would have thought of that? But damn, that's good. And so those are the things that we really do like to celebrate. And you talked about celebrating the journey. We have actually more non-computer science teachers using our program than we do computer science teachers, and that's very much by design. We know that we computer science is such an important skill. It's such an important exposure that we need to have our students have access to. We have in New York State, for example, almost 66% of our high schools across the state have a computer science course. You want to guess what percentage of kids are enrolled in a computer science course?
Oh, 15%.
4.3.
Wow. And I,
So we have, two-thirds of our high schools that offer it, but only 4.3% of our students are actually enrolled in a computer science class. So our job at MadLearn and really our mission is to help all students in non-computer science settings and non-computer science classes get an experience like this that makes them go, oh, maybe I should take that computer science class. Maybe that is me. Maybe that is something I want to do. I think I'm interested in that. So that's really what we want to do. We want to make something like app development accessible to any teacher in any classroom. And you talk about the journey, and we have English teachers that are saying, hey, make a book report app instead of
yep.
writing a boring book report paper. We have history teachers that are saying, hey, we're learning about the Holocaust. Let's make an app about that as opposed to, making a poster board. And we just a couple weeks ago, we had a few teachers in Georgia presenting at a conference, and their session was no more posters, no more papers, make mobile apps instead. So that's really what we want to try to introduce, is that different mindset and being able to celebrate those, hey, I'm not a computer science teacher. Oh, I
Right.
don't know code. As a teacher, those are things that are very common, but you can still be so successful with a program like MadLearn, and we want to help enable that.
Absolutely. And I'm excited because, my partners in Codebreaker with Daphne McMenamy and Brian Aspinall, I'd love for you to connect with them. That's what she does all the time. She was just in the featured speaker for computer science in Iowa. She was on last night. So it's just, this is what for me is exciting about these experiences, again, in a somewhat shameless plug, but in a sense, really what I believe in, why I wrote the book Power of Connections, because we bring people together, we learn from each other, and then we become stronger together. And I think, as hokey as that may sound, it's what we live, and we gravitate to the people that do that and make that happen. So one of the things that you said in your explanation there was building these apps. So a lot of times people think, oh, I have my maps, I got maybe some games, so when a parent or even a teacher who might see apps as just a standalone something that just is on their phone, How would you explain that to a teacher to say, this is how you use it in your classroom and how students can use, because you said a lot of the teachers are not computer science individuals. So how would you explain it to them that it's not just Angry Birds in school?
Yeah. So the two things. One, I don't know how to code, and I run a tech company. And this is something that I share with teachers and with students all the time because, and not to say coding is not important, it's essential. We could not do what we do without our
Sure.
developers. Absolutely. But we also couldn't do what we do without our designers and our testers and our marketing team and our sales team and all these things that come together to make a successful program. So we really want to introduce kids to all of these different aspects of technology to see where their interest is, right? So even if there isn't coding knowledge, that's okay. But the easiest way to think about how this might relate to your classroom is to pull out your phone and download this app called Mad Store. It's MAD Store. It's our version of the App Store. So
Okay.
any app that a student makes, that you make, that a teacher makes, you can instantly see on your phone through that Mad Store app. And you'll see there's apps about bullying, about orcas, about domestic violence, about COVID, about, I mean, anything you can think of. One, which tends to be a student favorite. Anytime we do this exercise, kids are like, look at this app, Potato World. It is an app that's called Potato World, and it is all
Wow.
about potatoes. And
So these are all your apps. So
yep,
Mad Store.
yep,
Nice.
all student made mobile apps. And so you look through those, you see what some of the things are that kids have done, and hopefully it'll help with a light bulb that goes off in terms of, oh, I'm teaching this module, or we're learning about this concept. Maybe we can make an app about that as a starting place, or something a little bit more cohesive or cross-curricular, where we're integrating. I know there was a school that did a cross-curricular project on refugees in Atlanta. And they had, they made an app that was all about different kinds of refugees that tend to come to
Mhm.
Atlanta. And the app was to help the refugees know how to integrate into society here, and also potentially take a naturalization test if they wanted to do that, or learn about
Wow,
very
that's
key
amazing.
things that they might need to know now that they're here. And so lots of different ideas.
That's exciting. Can you say the website again?
Yeah, it's actually, so the app on your phone, if you want to
Oh,
download
it's
the
on the
app,
app. Okay,
it
perfect.
is where you are is perfect. So the actual website is mad-store.mad-learn.com.
Okay, that's what I had, and I was like, "Oh, I don't think that's what you said."
That
I'll
is
throw that
correct.
in the
That is
chat
correct.
right
And on
here.
your phone, if you search for on the App Store, Google Play Store, you're just looking for Mad Store.
Gotcha. Okay. So this is what it looks like. There's the website. Make sure to check that out. I mean, look at those kids on there, right? They made all those things.
They sure
That's
did.
super, super exciting. So one of the things I wanted to ask you, because you talked about interests, the kids can go in and design their interests. And what is something you're interested in when you go this weekend, besides, selling this great product that you have and presenting 2 days? What interests you?
So my biggest, and I will say, we typically are not vendors at a conference because we're educators, and almost half the people on our team are former educators, current educators. You're right. Once an educator, always an educator. But we are, almost half of us are educators, and so we really come at this from a wanting to meet teachers and hear and learn about their experiences. We go to conferences really to learn more than to do anything else. And so this year is unique, where we did decide to have a booth, and we're excited about that, and we want to see how that goes. But and we do 20, 30 events every year. And most of what we go to conferences for is to meet fabulous people like yourself, like other amazing educators across the country, across the state, that are doing great things. I met Lori Guyon only 1 year ago at NiceGate.
Oh, wow.
And now she's an amazing partner, mentor, friend, somebody that we've collaborated on so many things together because of a connection at a conference. So really the biggest thing that I am looking forward to is seeing friends and making some new ones.
All right. Now, is it a New York-based company? Are you from New York?
No, no, we're not. Like I said, New York actually happened really because of our partners tech, and they are based in New York, do a lot of their work there, and so we said, we want to help support that. But no, our company is based in Georgia, but we do
Oh, okay.
work in almost 30 states across the country. So we're very much a nationwide enterprise, but we're a global team. We actually have team members all over the United States, team members in Ghana and in India. So we are a
Wow.
global team, and we actually have an internship program where we have kids, middle school and high school kids, that virtually intern with us and get an experience of what it's like to work on a global team that's a technology company, and they get all kinds of really fun, fabulous experiences. So yes, we're global.
That's very exciting. So you had mentioned you worked with the littles, and I was an elementary teacher and principal. And too often we hear like, "Oh, our kids aren't ready for that." How can elementary school kids start to use this tool because they live it every day? And I think, to be honest with you, it's more of an adult issue than a student issue. So for our elementary learners out there, where do they start with app design?
Yeah, so we have as young as the third grade is where we start. We potentially next year could maybe go down to second, but third grade and up is where we see MadLearn be the best fit. So upper elementary and middle school is where we see most of our work happen. Again, we want to prime and prep kids to have this kind of exposure, so they want to take more advanced classes like this in high school. So definitely, I mean, we have hundreds of elementary schools across the country that are using MadLearn very effectively. And most of what we see at the elementary level is we're learning about Australian animals, so let's make an app about Australian animals.
Sure.
Or we're doing a project on recycling. We're going to teach the community how to recycle correctly with this app that we build. A lot of times it's a group project, sometimes a class project where the whole class is making one app together if it's younger grades. But by yourself or with a partner, very much built for our younger learners.
So what wonderful. So first of all, this is such a great product. I'm so excited to learn more. There's so many wonderful things here. So make sure to go check out the website, check out all the things it has to offer. For those of you going this weekend, two great sessions. I can't wait. I won't be there on the Monday afternoon because you switched with me. Thankfully, I'll be on a flight back to the Boston area. But what I ask all of our guests as they leave, what does stronger together mean to you?
Oh my gosh. I think your image, your book cover is so powerful, right? And it does the job so well of describing obviously what you think it means. But here's sort of a real world example.
Sure.
There's hundreds of education companies that do all kinds of things, and little niche products that help this or solve that or fix this or make that easier or better. And we're all trying to do what's right for the student. Hopefully, that's the goal, right? How do
Right.
we do things that make our students and our teachers' lives better and richer? And we know as MadLearn, we're a small company. We are almost 9 years old now. We work
Oh,
with
wow.
yeah, we've been around for a minute. We work with almost 40,000 students across the country, but we're still small. And the impact that we have is still a tiny footprint.
Right.
And when we're able to have conversations like this, when we're able to meet people and put our heads together and brainstorm ideas, the collective power of what we can create together is so much more than what we can do by ourselves. It's really a simple analogy is thinking about an individual contributor versus a team, right?
Right.
We know that a team can do so much better and so much richer work because there's multiple minds involved. In the same way, multiple products or multiple companies or multiple organizations coming together to further the same goal can be that much more powerful. So it's really putting your hands together, putting your heads together, and figuring out how you can bring the assets that you have, the qualities, the benefits, the ideas that you have to a larger table, and do a whole lot more together.
Well, that is awesome. I'm glad we were able to sneak this in right before. I know we've been trying to find some time, so this is great. Check out MadLearn. check out the sessions at Nightscape and continue the great work that you're doing. Excited to meet you. We will get a picture up on the promo, and you just exude what we talk a lot about for our listeners and our viewers out there. We always say to stay stronger together, put we over me, and look forward to some of those moments this weekend.
I love it. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It was such a
Thank you. Look forward to meet soon.
Take care.